Hello, my name is Justin. I'm working on dat.cash. It stands for decentralized asset transfer. There's this history behind the name, but I guess one can not know. I'm introducing this concept of end-to-end custody for a decentralized future. So there's two problems I'm trying to tackle in this end-to-end concept. One is seed phrase management, and the other is truly owning digital assets. So as of right now, you don't own the private key to your data. So what do you really own? You own a URL that points to the data source. And the analogy I give people is that imagine you had a URL to a Google Drive, but you didn't control the Google Drive. In that instance, what does it mean to control something? It means you can create a file, modify it, transfer ownership, things like that. In this instance with digital assets, you can create an asset, and you should be able to transfer that and be able to get paid for that transfer. And right now, that's not true. And so it brings up a lot of questions about like, if these are not just JPEG monkeys, they're DSO house or your diploma or something of higher stake, who really owns the asset if you don't actually own the data? Also, the premise of Web3 was that we're supposed to own our own data, so it's kind of alarming that we don't. Okay, so the solution, end-to-end custody. So dat.cash is, I think a lot of people mistake it for a wallet. The interface is a wallet because it's familiar, but it doesn't necessarily need to be a wallet. It's really more akin to, imagine like what we're building is in the Web 2 version would be like a browser and HTTP. So that's kind of the analogy that you should be thinking of when we're going through this presentation. So it's a platform and a protocol, and we really want to make it seamless and safe to be able to own and be able to participate in Web3 and also own your assets. And for short, this is E2EC. Okay, so end-to-end, users will use this thing called dat.network, and it'll be stored on Arweave, their seed phrases. And we also have decentralized identity verification. That I won't be demoing today. There's some more theoretical aspects that I would need to walk through to make it convincing. And all you would really see in the wallet would just be the wallet just doing its thing, but you wouldn't actually see the message passing. But there is a mechanism for that to actually recover your seed phrase. So the dat.network, this is a high level of what you should be imagining what's happening, is you create your wallet, which in this particular instance is a Solana wallet and Arweave wallet abstracted away as one. It does secret sharing, and then it stores those secret shares on Arweave. Of course, you'd want to store it on something permanent so that we're actually able to recover it. If it's on something like IPFS, then you have to continuously pay rent in order to maintain it. Arweave is one-time payment, and its claim is that it's permanent. To get into more details about what I meant earlier about these not owning your data. So I call these version 1.0 of NFTs, where you don't own the private key to your data. And again, in some instances, it's not even like on Arweave. Horrifyingly, some data is actually stored on AWS or GCP, in which case, which Armani made, if you remember a few months ago. Okay, I don't remember all of Armani's tweets. It just so happens to be important. But is that if you're just going to store on AWS, there's no damn point in actually doing Web3 anyways. Just too much like technical debt to be able to do this. And so this is version 1.0, and they're decoupled. Version 1.5, which is what I'm going to be demoing, you actually own the private key to the data. This is specifically why it's important to store it on Arweave. And you also have the L1, which is the SPL that points to the Arweave. In version 2.0, which will be the full version of this, we'll cryptographically couple the digital assets. I can get into more details about that later, but that will not be demoed today. But you can just think of it as an atomic send, which comes up with actually a nice property emerges from that, where you have this universality across different L1s that you have this asset on. So the demo will consist of the dat.cash wallet. Again, it's just the interface. It's not actual. It doesn't specifically serve as a wallet in that this is a superset of what wallets could be. And also demonstrating a proof of concept of the network, which this is all running locally, and the dat.protocol. And just to mention before I forget, the way I'm doing Arweave right now is this local implementation that I created called datweave. You see a theme here. And that is a minimalistic simulation of Arweave if anyone also wanted to develop its open source. Right now it just does like very simple APIs, but later on I want to add things like smart contracts to it. So I guess I would just move to the demo. OK. And then I'll also show over here. So just for context, this top one is simulating one of the nodes on the .network. This is on a different port, another one. And then this is .weave running on 1984. Keydokes. OK. So we want to create a new wallet. Just to convince you that this is actually doing what I'm saying it's doing, and I'm not trying to pull something over your eyes, I'm just going to show you the seed phrase it actually generates. But the whole purpose here is to abstract things away. So that way, your grandma or whoever is not technically inclined can just use crypto. So here, it's generating both the Arweave wallet and the Solana wallet. The Arweave part, it actually starts with a seed phrase. I don't know if you can see that, but the seed phrases are right here. So the Solana one and then the Arweave one. So just keep in mind, this starts with echo, save, a swing. The Arweave one starts with oil example. And it takes the seed phrase using the BIP 39 standard and then converts it into a JWK, JSON web key, which is the standard that Arweave uses. So that's why it takes a little bit of time. Here there's like more details, but just for presentation, here are the public keys for both wallets, but it abstracts them away. There's some other features that I don't have time to get into, but the idea is that you really want to have all your assets. So here we also have a minting functionality, which I demoed at Riptide. But to demonstrate the part that I'm interested in right now is the recovery part, which, lucky for you all, I finished that part last night and a little bit this morning. So I'm a little bit sleep deprived. But also, OK. So here is a simulation of dat.network. So you do recovery. UI is beautiful, obviously. Here we go. And so you can see it's doing its secret sharing right here. What it's doing in the background is taking this string and then converting it into a binary and then into integer. And then from the integer, then it does secret sharing. Oh, so there you go. There you have the seed phrase. And from there, this is just for demo purposes. I don't actually want to show the seed phrase at any point in time. The whole point is to make it easier. Just as much as you would be using anything else, you just enter your password and just go. I think seed phrase management is a bit cumbersome. But yeah, and then so anyways, after converting to an integer, it does secret sharing using secure multi-party computation, and then you can recover it later. But yeah, that's it for the demo.